You know, you look at everything Elon Musk is doing, electric cars, rockets to Mars, brain implants, a social media company, and it all seems kind of random, right? Wildly disconnected. But what if it's not? What if, behind all of it, there's a single, unifying theory of everything? Well, to get it, we have to start with one really big question.
So what is the ultimate goal here? What single mission connects a car company, a rocket company, and yes, even a social media platform into one coherent plan?
Well, the answer goes way deeper than just building cool products. It's not really about the individual cars or the rockets themselves, but about what they make possible. And believe it or not, the key to understanding the whole thing starts with the one project that seems like the biggest outlier, his social media platform.
Right, so that brings us to X. Now, for most of us, it's just a social media app. But for Musk, it's something way, way bigger. He sees it as the foundational layer for something he calls the consciousness machine. So, let's dig into how this seemingly simple app fits into his grand plan.
This quote right here from Musk just completely reframes the entire purpose of X. He says his goal is to have a global platform that becomes as close to a collective consciousness of humanity as possible. So you see, for him, it's not about tweets and videos. It's about creating a tool to get us closer to a collective consciousness. But what on earth does that actually mean?
Okay, and this part is absolutely crucial. For Musk, collective consciousness isn't some, mystical, vague concept. Nope, it's a technical problem. It's about engineering an information network that is so efficient that all of humanity can basically operate like a single, super intelligent organism, solving problems that no one individual ever could.
He actually uses this really powerful analogy to explain it. Think about it. A single cell on its own is a pretty simple little thing, but you get 30 trillion of them together, and suddenly you have a conscious human being. By that same logic, a single human can't just go out and build a spaceship, but a collection of humans all sharing information, they absolutely can. So the goal of X, when you boil it all down, is to give that information flow a massive, massive upgrade.
So what happens when you actually have a super intelligent human collective? Well, you get a completely different kind of world. This collective intelligence is what he thinks unlocks the next phase, a future without work, a future that's built on the back of truly advanced AI and robotics. And get this, he doesn't believe this future is centuries away. In fact, his prediction for when this monumental shift will happen is, well, it's startlingly soon. We're talking less than 2 decades.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. His prediction is that in less than 20 years, working will be optional. Not that we'll work less, but that work itself, the need to have a job just to survive, will become entirely optional, kind of like a hobby. I mean, this is a fundamental reimagining of human society. He sees this massive transition from a world of scarcity to one of total abundance. And this is where companies like Tesla really click into place. See, it's not just about selling cars. It's about developing the robotics, like the Optimus bot, and the AI needed to produce any good or service you can possibly imagine. In that kind of reality, human labor becomes obsolete, and the very concept of money just starts to lose its meaning.
So if money's gone, what has value? Well, Musk says the true currency is based in physics, energy. And that's the other side of Tesla's mission. By solving solar generation and battery storage on a planetary scale, the energy needed to power this world of abundance becomes essentially free and limitless. This isn't just an economic shift. We're talking a civilizational one.
All right, so we've got a collective human consciousness living in a world of total abundance. But why? What's the point of it all? And this is where we finally reach the philosophical core of his theory, answering the ultimate question of why we're here at all.
A lot of his thinking is heavily influenced by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which, you might remember, famously concludes that the answer to the ultimate question of life is 42, but nobody actually knows what the question is. For Musk, that's the whole point. The hard part isn't finding the answers, it's figuring out the right questions to ask in the first place. And that's the ultimate goal. The whole purpose of this post-scarcity society is to free up humanity to focus on expanding our consciousness. And this isn't just a digital thing with X. It's physical, with SpaceX making humanity multiplanetary to ensure consciousness survives. It's biological, with Neuralink aiming to merge us with AI. It's all about building a civilization that's finally smart enough to ask the right questions about the nature of the universe. Which brings us to the deepest, most mind-bending layer of Musk's worldview. The ultimate question that all of this is designed to help us explore is this: are we living in a simulation?
For Musk, this is not just a philosophical game. He believes there's a very high probability that our reality is in fact a simulation, and he has a simple, logical argument to back it up.
Let's just walk through this for a second. 50 years ago, we had Pong, literally 2 rectangles and a dot. Today, we have photorealistic, massive multiplayer online games. Now, if you accept that this rate of progress is going to continue, it seems basically inevitable that we will create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality. And if billions of those simulations are going to exist, what are the statistical odds that we just happen to be in the one, single, original base reality?
But here's the final twist. Musk also theorizes that simulations, kind of like TV shows or video games, are selected for being interesting. We shut down the boring ones, right? This implies that from a sort of Darwinian perspective, the simulations most likely to keep existing are the most interesting ones. The most interesting outcome, therefore, becomes the most likely outcome.
And that leaves us with this final, crucial question. If we are characters in a simulation that rewards interesting plot lines, and we are on the verge of creating a collective consciousness that can understand the nature of reality itself, what happens next? What does the next chapter of this story even look like?